Imagine you're trudging up a steep, muddy hill, boots slipping, arms straining, every step a battle against gravity and muck. This grueling ascent mirrors the challenge of amassing your first $100,000, a relentless, soul-testing endeavor. But here's the twist. Once you crest that hill, the path ahead transforms into a gentle downhill slope. It sounds almost mythical, but according to Charlie Munger, one of our most astute financial minds, this is the reality of wealth building. He famously remarked, "The first $100,000 is a bead, but you gotta do it." Today, we're diving into Munger's classic advice, why that first $100,000 feels so tough, how it gets easier after, and how these tips can help you carve your own path to wealth. So stick around, as this could flip how you think about money in ways you'd never guess. Welcome to Blue Chip Mindset, the winning mindset for success. If you enjoy the video or learn something new, please give it a like. Let's kick things off with Charlie Munger himself. Born in 1924, he didn't roll out of some Wall Street mold. Picture a scrappy Omaha kid who scrapped his way through the Great Depression, later sharpening his mind at Harvard Law with the philosopher's restless curiosity. That same grit landed him as vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, where he and Warren Buffett took a creaky textile outfit on its last legs and spun it into a $900 billion juggernaut. Munger was known for his candid, no-nonsense approach to finance and life. His take on the first $100,000, unvarnished truth. He'd often stated, "The first $100,000 is a B, but you gotta do it. I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. This wasn't mere rhetoric, but a reflection of his journey and a blueprint for others. So why is that first $100,000 so daunting? Starting from zero is an uphill battle. Fresh out of school, burdened by student loans, facing rent, groceries, and car payments, all on a modest salary. Saving even $100 feels like a victory. Accumulating $100,000? That seems like a distant dream. Munger zeroed in on the heart of this issue. At the outset, you have no financial momentum. Every dollar saved is a dollar not spent on immediate needs or unforeseen expenses. For instance, earning $40,000 annually and saving $5,000 yearly, about 12.5% of your income, means it would take 20 years to reach $100,000, assuming no investments. That's 2 decades of disciplined saving, foregoing luxuries, and making tough choices. But it's not just the numbers. It's the psychological toll. Reaching that first $100,000 means giving up what others take for granted. While your friends jet off on lavish vacations, savor steak dinners, and roll up in new Teslas, you haven't left town in 3 years, still packing a brown bag lunch, and have been driving the same Honda Accord which hasn't been waxed since 2015. You're the oddball hoarding change while everyone you know is freely tossing cash around. Munger got this on a deep level. Back in the 1950s, a young lawyer with a family to feed, he lived lean, skipping fancy nights out, pouring every spare dollar into real estate and stocks, holding fast through the grind. That first $100,000, worth a small fortune today, came from pure, stubborn resolve. So what happens when you finally hit that $100,000? The grind doesn't just lighten up, it flips entirely. Munger saw this as the point where your money stops weighing you down and starts building its own steam. That's where compounding kicks in, a force he swore by with relentless passion. It's the quiet engine that turns your savings into a growing force, with gains earning gains of their own. Picture this. You invest $100,000 at a steady 7% annual return, a realistic clip for something like an S&P 500 index fund. In year 1, you pocket $7,000, not a fortune, but a start. Reinvest that, and the numbers begin to stack. After 10 years, you're looking at roughly $196,000. Stretch it to 20 years, and it's nearing $387,000, all without adding another dime. It's not a straight line, but a curve bending upward, picking up speed as time passes. Munger loved this exponential lift, the payoff for enduring that first brutal stretch. But the shift isn't just about stocks. With $100,000 in your pocket, new paths open up. Real estate comes into play. Imagine putting that cash toward a $300,000 rental property. Rent starts flowing in, and if values climb 5% a year, you're looking at $15,000 in growth plus steady income. Or maybe you funnel it into a side gig, a small shop, or a franchise, sparking a stream of returns from scratch. Munger worked this angle early on, snapping up properties in post-war LA and flipping the proceeds into bigger bets. Spreading your money this way doesn't just cut risk, it fuels faster growth, turning one win into many. Reaching that $100,000 changes more than your bank account. It rewires how you think. You've proven you can set and hit a goal, locking in habits that stick. Munger called these mental models ways of seeing that steer your choices. The patience and focus you've built don't vanish. They become the groundwork for bigger moves like eyeing $500,000 or even $1 million. What once felt impossible starts looking like the next logical step, all because you trained your mind to play the long game. Now step back for a broader view. That 100,000 doesn't carry the same punch everywhere. In places like New York, San Francisco, or London, sky-high rents chew it up fast, barely a foothold in a concrete jungle. But in quieter towns, it stretches further, maybe covering a cozy house or a chunk of land. Location tweaks its value, sure, but not its meaning. The real prize isn't what it buys today, it's the discipline and smarts you forged to get there. Whether in a pricey city or a sleepy suburb, the climb stays tough. Consistent saving, sharp investing, and letting go of the extras. So how do you pull it off? Munger's approach lights the way. Let's break it down with some tangible steps to make it happen. First, embrace frugality. Munger often spoke about the virtue of living below your means, not just as a financial tactic, but as a lifestyle. That doesn't mean living like a monk. It means recognizing that every dollar you don't spend today is a soldier that can go to battle for your future. Avoid lifestyle inflation. If you get a raise, save or invest the difference instead of upgrading your car or renting a more expensive apartment. Second, increase your income. While cutting costs helps, earning more can speed up the process. This might mean taking on freelance work, starting a side hustle, or seeking promotions in your current job. Munger valued self-improvement immensely. He said, to get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. If you want higher pay, make yourself more valuable through education, skills, and reliability. Third, invest wisely. Munger wasn't a gambler. He believed in thoughtful, long-term investing. Avoid the hype of day trading or meme stocks. Instead, focus on building a diversified portfolio of stocks, index funds, or other income-producing assets. His approach was simple. Buy quality businesses at fair prices and hold them. The goal isn't to get rich overnight. It's to build wealth sustainably over time. Fourth, avoid debt like the plague, especially high-interest consumer debt. Munger detested debt. He saw it as a shackle that enslaves your future income. Paying 20% interest on a credit card while trying to invest for 7% returns is financial madness. If you're in debt, make paying it off your top priority before focusing on aggressive investing. Now let's talk about persistence. One of the most underappreciated aspects of Munger's message is patience. He and Buffett famously sat on piles of cash for years, waiting for the right opportunities. They didn't force investments. They waited for the fat pitch. In the same way, building your first 100,000 will test your patience. There will be setbacks, unexpected expenses, market downturns, discouragement. But if you persist, the momentum eventually shifts in your favor. And here's something profound that Munger lived by. Avoid stupidity more than you chase brilliance. It's not about being a genius. It's about not making dumb decisions. Don't speculate with money you can't afford to lose. Don't invest in things you don't understand. Don't follow the herd without thinking critically. Most financial mistakes come not from lack of intelligence, but from lack of discipline and overconfidence. To make this real, let's look at a practical timeline. Suppose you can save and invest $10,000 annually, roughly $833 monthly. At a 7% annual return, you'll hit $100,000 in just under 8 years. Increase that to $15,000 a year and you'll get there in 6 years. That's not a lifetime. That's a season of intense focus that can change your life. And once you're there, the game truly changes. Your money starts compounding. Your stress around emergencies decreases. You have options to invest, start something, and say no to bad jobs or toxic environments. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure buys freedom. And freedom, Munger would argue, is worth every sacrifice. As you build wealth, remember to also build character. Munger believed that integrity was non-negotiable. He once said, if you're not a little confused by what's going on, you're not paying attention. The world is complex, unpredictable, but through it all, the constants are character, discipline, and rational thinking. These traits don't just make you rich, they make you anti-fragile in a world full of noise. The journey to your first $100,000 will be challenging. It will demand sacrifice, discipline, and patience. But question if it's worth it. You'll wonder if you're falling behind while others seem to sprint ahead. But if you stay the course, if you listen to the timeless advice of Charlie Munger and make steady, smart choices, everything begins to change. You'll reach the tipping point where your money starts working harder than you do. You'll feel momentum building, and before you know it, 100,000 becomes 200,000, 500,000, and more. This isn't magic, it's math. It's a mindset. It's momentum. The first 100,000 is a mountain, but beyond it lies a downhill slope paved with opportunities, options, and a level of freedom that most people never taste, not because they couldn't, but because they didn't persist long enough to see it. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications.